Good evening, everyone. I suppose what jumps to mind is now for something completely different. If you're already an alien, well, it's good to have you here again and give you an update. Hopefully, we can add some aliens to the team. So this is really an update of where we are, what we're doing, and where we're moving forward to. Now, not having been shown this, okay, hopefully. Oh, it works that way. Okay, so disclaimer, as per standard. So I'll jump right in. I'm finding that quite bright from here. Hopefully you can all see that clearly. The key thing for me in a way is in any company is the people involved. We've had some great talks from some very strong CEOs who obviously have that team, which they've all mentioned is important. For me, it's very much the team that make the company, the support I get from the board, and as importantly, Lloyd, Howard, Bradley. Bradley's newly joined exploration manager based in Perth, but also my colleagues who are also in the room, who sort of more working in the background, do a lot of the grunt work. But I'd like to think we've got a great team, gradually developing the team with the right skills to take the company forward. Excuse me, market information. Again, this presentation will be on our website, so rather than sitting here going through numbers individually, just a quick summary there. Main shareholders, current market cap, the range in the share price, currently for I think just a few days ago now. But please take at your leisure. This will be, as I say, on the website, or you can download it even in more detail. There's a skew width pyramid. We saw a pyramid earlier. Here's another one. But I think that it's a good representation of our three main projects. So you've got the Iota Iron Ore Company of Australia sort of leading the charge at the moment in terms of where we get to development status. The MUNNI Elizabeth Hill project is sort of in the middle tier with lots to do, but really exciting. And then Mexico silver and copper projects lower down the pyramid at the moment, but hopefully in the coming months everything will move up gradually or shift accordingly. So, but these are the three main projects that I'll be discussing. Give you a good hopefully insight into where we are with all three of them. In general, what we have is this high-grade material. The high-grade material is the key, the most in demand. It is green in terms of the product we have. You dig it out of the ground, you just screen it and crush it, which is a very simple process, and then you send it to market. You don't need to do beneficiation. You don't need to do all sorts of extra work to it to get it ready for, be it the furnace to produce steel, or for blending purposes to take a lower grade material, mix it up, and bring it up to a grade that can be used. So obviously, the prices have varied quite dramatically over the last, probably we could say a few years, but they're really that sort of this year. Last year there was a bigger spike, but where our project sits, and I'll talk about this a bit later, having the high grade product is much less susceptible to changes in the market price. I can see it on the screen. I mean, everyone's talking about the green revolution. It's obviously, it's where we need to go for the planet, for ourselves, for our kids, for our grandkids. But you still have to dig out and produce iron ore. You still need to make those vehicles, make those ships, make the hydro systems, the nuclear, the solar systems, the wind power, everything. So iron ore is still a critical commodity now, and one of the other main products or commodities we're working with, or we're looking to develop on the nickel, which I'll talk about again soon. The silver, one of our key other commodities, and the platinum, which platinum, palladium, talks about again hydrogen fuel, catalytic converters in standard vehicles that are going to be around a long time. Which this slide again this side. I'm used to having a pointer, but again, as Ben said just now, that there's still going to be a huge amount of production of combustion engine vehicles, be it just for cars, let alone trucks, shipping, buses, everything else. So there's still going to be that demand for palladium in the catalytic converters. And the red line is just more that shows when the historic PFS was done on the MUNNI project we recently acquired. That was the current price of palladium. So there's a significant change, which sort of gives us encouragement for part of the reason of taking on the project and what we see for the future. Silver, amazing commodity. Even I learn all the time the different uses of it. It really is quite used in so many different areas. There's a demand is very strong. We believe it will continue to be strong. One of the main sources of silver in the world is Mexico. I think they produce over 40% of the global silver. And we have a couple of really interesting silver projects in Mexico, plus the Elizabeth Hill project in West Australia, which is also got a lot of potential, and as I'll come to in a minute. Excuse me. So, talked about ESG. We're finding our feet. We're developing our environmental aspects, social and governance. As each project develops, we're using all the necessary skills of consultants to advisors to specific project areas. That's in the middle. There's a couple of our lady geos in Mexico. I was down at the beginning of the year. We university. I think one of my previous presenters talked about one of the African geologists recently graduating through their program, which is great. And it's all about, you need to work with the local community anywhere you're working to be able to get your projects off the ground and working smoothly. So that aspect we're always doing. Governance, very important, making sure we tread the right line, communication with stakeholders, accreditation. And again, each project at the different phases will start to develop specific ESG programs for each project as they move forward. So I suppose that I had the pleasure actually of taking a trip in one of these. These are the quad trucks that are used extensively in Western Australia now for transporting bulk material. And this is sort of part of our planning for becoming potentially a future iron ore miner. So our portfolio, we recently acquired the VIVASH Gorge project, just south east of Brockman, but more significantly at the moment, our focus is the Hancock project just outside Newman. Great location, great geology, great, I feel, and hopefully everyone feels, a great project, quite unique in a way. We've got this very high-grade material. It's majority is right at surface. So it's a bit like this plinth I'm standing on. That's the high-grade material. So I just come along and take this off, chuck it in the truck, send it to port. I don't have to dig a huge, great open pit to access it. It's there, ready, waiting, which for us adds a lot of attraction for the economics, adds a lot of interest, just reduces the cost, production costs, creates a more attractive project. So again, all this is in on the website if you want to read it more at your leisure. So we produced a maiden resource September last year of 10.4 million tons at average grade of 60.4. But the key thing to me is Ridge C and Ridge E, the two ridge systems in the western area of the tenement, are higher grade, so the 61.9 and 61.2, higher grade at surface, as we talked about, almost a 1-to-1 strip ratio, as a key starting point for what we're planning in terms of getting this into production. Again, as I say, with the value of the high grade material at that sort of grade, we're less susceptible to a change in the iron ore price. I think the iron ore price is currently between 122 and 125 a ton for the 62 fines. Our recent metallurgical testing came in around the 62% for that specific bulk sample we analysed. So with the economics as well, which I'll go through in a moment, very, very exciting. And the key with this one as well is, as I said, very economical, low-cost production, and huge potential for growth of resource. Those sort of, you know, the basically further 3 kilometers that we've tested on the ridges that we still haven't drilled on are coming in very consistently and stronger than the C and the E ridge we've already sort of drilled out and got our maiden resource on. So those represent almost 200% more strike length. And that's only the areas we've tested. We still haven't been to all the rest of this area. So very exciting project, lots to come. We feel will add considerable resource of the high-grade material that are for the future of the development. I mentioned earlier about the, we did a big bulk sample, did some testing on that. This from the 5 sort of samples that were taken, I mean 63.7, 62.4. So very strong, and key also is the low silica, phosphorus, aluminium, deleterious material. So it's a very good product. It's a very nice quality, low contaminant product that we know people like and are keen to hopefully take from us or buy from us. Obviously, we're not going to be giving it away. We talked about the capex. So the capex, we put at less than 30 million. That's probably come down a bit more. We're trying to be controlling as much as possible, keep the cost to a minimum to get the project over the line into production. FOB to port less than $60 a ton US. So the numbers are continuing to be really good, even with the recent rise in mainly fuel price. We're updating the scoping study at the moment, but we're confident that we'll still be very much, those numbers will be pretty close to where we'll end up at the end of the year or into production period, hopefully early next year. Plan. So that's the ridge system up on the top right. That's sort of the basic mine plan, although essentially it's lay down areas. You run along, you take the material, you put it down the haul road to, on the bottom left is the Great North Highway. So that's a sealed road all the way to Port Hedland. That's the road I took with that haul truck from earlier. About 5.5, 6 hours route. And interesting, we talking to a couple of possible haulage companies, and one of them are in discussion. I'm not sure if it's your group, with a British-based company looking at how they can reduce fuel consumption. Excuse me. So we're looking at those options too. You know, there's solar, there's wind, there's all sorts of things, but it's still everything. So we are looking at best outcome from everybody. So I'm going to press the button and see what happens here, because we have a video here, and I'm hoping. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, so this just shows you just more visually. So those are ridge C and E. So you can see those 1.5 kilometer strike, 2.6 million tons of DSO, direct shipping ore. These are our new targets from surface sampling, quite detailed. So you can see how much more there is. I mean, and we haven't put a yet. If you can see the ridges, I mean, this is the high grade material. It's often defined by, you've got the very sharp ridge, and then the material is protected by that and sits below it, just below it. So that gives us the ability, we're not having to dig holes, you're just sort of literally shaving it off the top. But as you can see, look how much more there is. I'm getting dizzy, I'm a bit close. look how many more ridges there are. I mean, all down the bottom. So we're really excited by the potential. And this is just Hancock. This is just one of now the 3 projects we have, the iron ore. So Brockman's to the west, hasn't been drilled yet. Historical BHP targets from the 70s when they did a much bigger project. But we did some sampling there. So again, fades. We're very excited. We're going to be drilling there hopefully in the next 2-3 months to do our maiden drilling program and start working, hopefully bringing that one up to speed and following along behind Hancock. VIVASH Gorge, as I said, we just acquired this only a few weeks ago. But again, we feel it's a fantastic addition to the portfolio. Significantly, I think this is one of the last holes drilled. I mean, 70 meters at just trying to see the screen, over 60% from surface, and it's like 50 meters from the boundary. So the hole's approximately up in here somewhere. And if you see, no work's been done on this belt through here, whereas you've got recent resources discovered here already, but no one's actually, for whatever reason, has looked there yet. So we're quite excited to be going in and doing some work there in the coming months as well. So I mentioned about Munni. We still seem to have the truck there. I'm not sure why he's still there. It should be okay. It should be there was a very nice. Again, hopefully, if you get a chance to have a look online, you'll see a much better. There's a cross section showing the historical cross section from drilling at Munni. So this is the palladium platinum price was quite depressed. It wasn't necessarily in the day economic. Nowadays, it's becoming much more a significant commodity, much more economic. But from our point of view, we also feel now, having acquired the Munni project next door to, as you see, Elizabeth Hill sits just to the north. We've now pretty much acquired the whole belt, which for us is the key, a key acquisition, because you can see that enormous geological regional intrusion, and Elizabeth Hill, that if you compare it to Andover intrusion, where Azura are doing some fantastic work, Radio Hill, historic nickel copper mine, which is still there, and possibly one day will go back into production. Wandoo, where there's quite a significant copper find there, again a historic mine. So we now have this large regional target, which again has already we've sort of unlocked what we feel is potential for nickel, copper, lead, zinc. So base metal, a big base metal system that is related to this larger intrusion that's never really been looked at or considered. And we're excited for it to have it now and be able to really look into this in a regional way. And that's not detracting from Elizabeth Hill, the historic mine. Incredible numbers that came out. Historically, 2,200 gram head grade is something you'd more expect in some of the best mines in Mexico. But here it is. They extracted maybe 25% of the historic resource. They never really finished it. Historically, we were told you couldn't drill it. It wasn't much of real value. So we're very excited by that, but also by the presence of, again, nickel, copper, cobalt, lead, zinc in the surrounding larger halo, which we feel has a secondary, or possibly that's the first focus for the potential for this project. There's our truck again. I don't know. He's very. He doesn't want to get off the screen. So our third sort of core assets are in Mexico. So we have the CELSO silver project. So all 3 are in the Zacatecas region of sort of central silver belt in central Mexico. Historically fantastic area and still for silver. The CELSO, we recently did some maiden drilling. We got 3 holes done. unfortunately, we had a lot of issues with the drilling. So rather than just continue not cost effectively, we sort of put the brakes on, said, right, let's get some results back, see what we've got, find a better solution to this. So we're just waiting on that now. But again, this has some fantastic historic silver mines, colonial mines. So we feel there's a lot of potential there. Los Campos the same. Los Campos, even bigger project. These two parallel systems. We were hoping to drill there. We're waiting to sort the drillers out so we can get in there and hopefully do some drilling. Again, all those you can see the shafts. It's the squares of the historic shafts. Some of those are up to 200 meters deep, and these again are sort of colonial time mines. Incredible, the stonework and stuff where they've done the work, created these things is quite amazing. But it shows how even in the day how valuable these the ore bodies were. But again, high grade. They focus on the high grade material they could extract, and we feel there's plenty of potential for a lot more silver and possible associated minerals to come. And then Donovan 2 is a copper, more a copper target. It sits about 20 kilometers west of the San Nicolas project, which is owned by Teck, where they have about 100 million tons of I think it's 1.5% copper. What did I say? 1.2%. This is a blind target in a way. There's nothing really at surface. It's arable land everywhere, other than the Los Alamos well, where we got some 3.3% samples containing copper from an old well. And as you can see, we drilled on that. We're still waiting for assays, but geologically, there seems to be quite a significant alteration zone through that area that links up, which makes geological sense. So we're looking forward to getting those results. And then hole 4 was on a geophysical anomaly. And again, there's quite a significant geological alteration system in that hole. And we're with sulfides disseminated throughout. So again, we're looking forward to getting some results on that and hopefully moving, going to the next stage. It's, so in summary, 3 main projects: the iron ore, which is sort of the focus at the moment, driving that. If we can get that into production, if for example, this time next year we're in production at Hancock, well, we can start generating considerable revenue into the company, which we can then obviously put across into Elizabeth Hill, MUNNI, Mexico, and other projects. So I'd like to think we're in a strong position today. We're still quite well funded from a fundraise we did in November. I have a great team of people. I think we're in the right commodities for the future, in the right jurisdictions, and I think our share price is very underpriced at the moment, but hence the market is what the market is. And I think it's I think we've got lots of news to come. So watch this space.